Welcome to Cost Saver Conversations. I'm Angela, and I ask the practical questions so you can quickly understand what matters. Today, I'm joined by Assad.
Hi, Angela. We are unpacking bus versus rail commute in the UK, a cost and time efficiency breakdown today, and tying it back to the wider cost saver ecosystem, including tools like bus-to-rail mode switcher, so you can turn insights into action quickly.
Just a heads up before we dive in, we are your synthetic hosts. We are great with numbers, but as AI, we can sometimes be confidently wrong. Think of us as the digital versions of your most knowledgeable, slightly caffeinated friends.
Exactly. Treat this chat as a smart estimate only, not as professional financial guidance. Always check important details with official sources or a qualified expert before making any big decisions.
Welcome back to the Cost Saver podcast. Today, we are getting into something that, honestly, affects pretty much all of us, the daily commute, specifically buses versus trains in the UK. Assad, this is one of those things where everyone seems to have an opinion, but nobody's actually, done the maths.
Yeah, and that's exactly the problem, right? People just kind of go with their gut or they pick whatever they did when they started the job and never revisit it. But when you actually sit down and look at the numbers, it can be a bit of a shock, honestly.
So, where do we even start with this? Because on the surface, it feels simple. Trains are faster, buses are cheaper. Done.
Right, and that's broadly true, but it's massively more complicated when you get into the weeds. Like, if you're commuting 5 days a week, the gap between bus and rail can easily run into thousands of pounds a year. We're not talking about, pocket change.
Thousands. Okay, hit me with some actual numbers.
So, a monthly rail season ticket from a commuter town into London can cost more than £400. Meanwhile, a daily $2 bus fare, assuming you're in England with the fare cap, works out closer to $80 a month.
Wait, so that's a massive gap.
Around $3,840 a year on a single commute. That's a holiday, that's several months of energy bills, that's a meaningful chunk off your mortgage overpayments. It's real money.
Yeah, that's not abstract at all. And I feel like there's always a but.
There's always a but. Cost is only one side of it. Time matters, reliability matters, whether you arrive at work fresh or absolutely fuming, that's part of the equation too. There's genuinely no universal winner here.
Right.
It depends on your specific route, your working pattern, and honestly, how much you value an extra 30 minutes of sleep in the morning. Does that make sense?
It does. So let's talk about that 2-pound bus cap, because that's kind of transformed things, hasn't it?
Oh, hugely. That single policy has done more to shift the cost calculation than anything else in the last decade. Routes that used to cost £4 or £5 one way, flat £2 now. It's genuinely made bus travel a different proposition for a lot of people.
But it's not permanent, right? Like, it could just go away?
Yeah, it's reviewed periodically. There's no guarantee it stays at £2 indefinitely. So locking in those habits while it remains is, well, it's just sensible. And rail, by contrast, is built on this, honestly, it's a confusing pricing model. The same seat on the same train can cost wildly different amounts depending on when you booked, what time you travel, whether you remembered your rail card.
Oh, God, the rail card thing. I've definitely forgotten mine before.
Everyone has. You've got anytime fares, off-peak, super off-peak, advance fares, split tickets. It's not a system designed for clarity, put it that way.
No kidding. Okay, so give us what are people actually paying out there in 2025? Rough picture.
So local bus single in England with the cap, £2. Day ticket, usually $4 to $6 in most towns and cities. Monthly bus pass, $55 to $90 depending on operator and zone. Then rail, short commute, under 15 miles, you're looking at $4 to $9 for a single off-peak. Medium distance, 15 to 40 miles, that jumps to $8 to $20.
And the long ones?
Long commute, season ticket, like Reading to London, $4,000 plus annually, just for the ticket.
Just for the ticket. And then there's all the stuff on top, right? That's the bit that really...
Yes, that's where it gets painful. Parking at the station can be $6 to $15 a day. Then there's a second ticket for the tube or bus at the other end, the coffee you grab because you left early, the occasional taxi when services get canceled. It just stacks up.
Okay. So you mentioned an example, Sarah from Reading. Tell me about her.
Yeah, so Sarah commutes into London 4 days a week. Her annual season ticket was $4,852. Station parking added $1,560 a year. Tube travel card add-on on top of that, her total came to over $7,400 a year.
Oh, wow. That's a lot.
It is. But then she costed up the X140 coach from her town to West London. Equivalent annual cost? Closer to $2,900. No parking.
Wait, really? That's what, over 4,500 difference?
Yeah, the coach took 35 minutes longer each way, which is, that's not nothing. But for her, that $4,500 funded a remortgage overpayment plan and a yearly family holiday. So it was kind of a no-brainer once she actually ran the numbers.
That's wild. And I think that's the thing, isn't it? People just don't run the numbers.
They really don't. And bus commutes tend to be more honest about their pricing. What you see is largely what you pay. Far fewer add-ons, far less parking fab.
Okay, so cost-wise, buses are usually winning, especially shorter distances or with the cap. But time, trains have to win there, right? For longer trips at least?
For longer journeys, absolutely. And the reason is simple. Trains run on dedicated track. They don't sit in traffic, they don't get stuck behind a refuse lorry, they don't have to detour around a burst water main. For journeys over about 20 miles, that advantage just compounds.
So what does that actually look like? Like a 30-mile commute?
Typical comparison. By train, about 35 minutes journey time, plus maybe 10 minutes either side for walking and waiting. By bus or coach, you're looking at 70 to 90 minutes, plus shorter walks. By car, for reference, 50 to 75 minutes depending on congestion.
Right, and I was going to say, actually, what about shorter commutes? Because I sort of feel like the bus might actually be quicker when you're not going that far.
That's exactly where the picture flips. Under about 10 miles, buses often win because they stop closer to where you actually live and work. You skip the walk to the station, the wait on the platform, the walk at the other end. And here's the thing people forget. Speed on paper is not speed in practice. A train that says 27 minutes on the timetable, that's actually 50 minutes door to door once you factor in everything.
Oh, I hadn't really thought about it that way. You just see the timetable and think that's what you're getting.
Exactly. And there's a good tip here. Track your actual door-to-door journey time for a week before assuming the timetable is accurate. Rail timetables rarely include the walk to the platform, ticket queues, or that mysterious 8-minute delay that magically appears every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday. Okay, and then there's reliability, which is, honestly, that's the one that gets me. Trains just feel so unreliable lately.
It's the silent decider, I think. The Office of Rail and Road publishes punctuality data, and the honest truth is that UK rail reliability has been patchy over the past few years. Strikes, signal failures, engineering works, a 35-minute commute can turn into a 2-hour ordeal with absolutely no warning.
Ugh.
Buses are slower, but they're more predictable in their slowness. You generally know your route takes 50 minutes, and it will take 50 minutes, give or take 5. That predictability has real value, especially if you've got school runs, nursery pickups, hard deadlines.
Predictably slow. I kind of love that as a selling point. Okay, so let's say someone's listening right now thinking, all right, I need to actually figure this out for myself. What's the framework?
So the honest framework looks like this. First, map your real door-to-door distance for both modes, not the headline mileage, the actual journey. Second, time both options properly. Walks, waits, transfers, all of it. Third, cost both options using actual fares, not the cheapest theoretical price you found online at 2 a.m.
Guilty.
Fourth, multiply by your working days to get a realistic weekly or monthly figure. And then fifth, this is the one where most people go wrong, apply a value to your time.
Okay, what do you mean by that exactly?
Well, if switching from bus to rail saves you 40 minutes a day but costs an extra £80 a month, the question isn't just, is it worth it? The question is, what would you actually do with those 40 minutes? If the answer is sleep or be with my kids, that has genuine value. If the answer is scroll my phone, maybe less so.
Fair enough. That's actually a really honest way to think about it.
And I'd say try the cheaper option for a fortnight before committing. It's far easier to upgrade from bus to rail than to convince yourself that paying £400 a month was a sensible decision when the bus only takes 15 minutes longer.
That's smart. So, what are the factors that kind of tip the balance one way or the other?
For buses, your commute is under 15 miles, or you live somewhere the train doesn't directly serve, or you qualify for free or discounted travel. Scotland's worth mentioning here, actually. Free bus travel for under 22s and over 60s with the National Entitlement Card. That's a genuine outlier.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Under 22s as well?
Yeah, under 22s. It's worth knowing about if you've got family members in either age group who might be paying for tickets unnecessarily. Also, flexible start times help with buses, and if reliability matters more to you than raw speed. For rail, it's typically commutes over 25 miles, or where time savings would meaningfully change your day, or where your employer offers a season ticket loan. Rail cards make a big difference too. 16 to 25, 26 to 30, senior, two together, family and friends.
Right. And once you've picked a mode, there are still ways to squeeze more savings out of it?
Oh, loads. For bus, buy weekly or monthly passes if you're commuting 4 or more days. Check operator-specific apps for cheaper mobile tickets. Use the £2 cap strategically. You can sometimes break longer journeys into single fares where it works out cheaper. And look at multi-operator tickets in cities like Manchester, Leeds, Liverpool.
And rail, because that's where people are really feeling it in the wallet.
Rail card first. If you're eligible, the $30 annual fee pays back within a handful of journeys. Then split ticketing, which this is the one people always ask about.
Yeah, I always thought that was sort of a gray area, like people doing it on the sly.
No, it's entirely legal. Rail companies acknowledge it. The same journey on the same train often costs less if you buy 2 tickets covering the legs separately. You just have to remain on the train the whole way, and all tickets must cover stations where the train actually stops. Get that wrong and you can be charged a penalty fare, but done properly, totally above board.
Oh, that's actually reassuring. What else for rail?
Book advance fares. They're typically released at 6 a.m. 12 weeks ahead. And always, always ask your employer about season ticket loans. They spread the cost interest-free, which makes rail much more affordable than a one-off purchase. People just forget to ask or they feel awkward about it.
What about the common worries? Like someone's thinking, I've already paid for a season ticket, I'm stuck.
You're not. Most train operators offer pro rata refunds on season tickets, minus an admin fee. It's worth a quick call to check the exact figure. And for buses are unreliable, modern tracking apps like Bus Times are often more accurate than rail predictions now. You can plan to within 5 minutes of arrival on most regular routes.
And the I can't work on a bus one?
Tables and Wi-Fi are rarer on buses than trains, that's true. But for shorter journeys, it matters less, and many coaches on commuter routes now offer both. So it depends on your specific route, as always.
I feel like the biggest mistake people make is just not reviewing it, like picking something years ago and never looking again.
That's exactly it. People overestimate rail speed because they quote the timetable and ignore the 25 minutes of walking and waiting either side. They underestimate bus reliability. They forget about tax-free employer schemes. They ignore the cost of stress. Crowded, standing room-only trains have a real cost that doesn't appear on the ticket. And they just stick with a habit from 5 years ago, when fares, routes, and their personal circumstances were completely different.
So review it, what, every 6 months?
Every 6 months, yeah. Fares change, routes change, your job might change. The $2 bus cap might get extended, scrapped, or raised. What was true last year may not be true today. It's just one of those things, you know?
All right, so quick recap for anyone who wants to take action today. What are we saying?
Okay, so buses win on cost almost every time, especially while the $2 fare cap is in place. Rail wins on time for longer journeys, particularly if you can book advance or use a rail card. Under 10 miles, bus is almost certainly cheaper and not much slower. Over 30 miles, rail probably saves enough time to justify the cost. The bit in the middle, that's where you really need to do the math.
And the maths doesn't take long.
20 minutes, honestly. Run your real numbers, actual fares, hidden costs, value of your time. A 20-minute audit can quietly save you several £100s across the year, and that's money far better spent on almost anything else.
Several £100 for 20 minutes of work? Yeah, I'd take that return any day. Assad, this has been brilliant. Thank you.
My pleasure, Angela. Happy commuting, everyone.
Quick side note, this guide connects with other cost-saver blogs, especially Understanding Your Energy Bill Breakdown, Weather-Aware Home Energy Planner, and Cutting Laundry Drying Costs.
Exactly, and reading those together helps you connect the dots across your household budget, not just this one topic in isolation.
And if you want to apply this immediately, jump into tools like Bus to Rail Mode Switcher right after this episode.
Primary sources used here include Department for Transport and Money-Saving Expert, so you can verify the data yourself and stay evidence-led.
That wraps this cost-saver conversation with Angela and Assad. If this helped, share it with someone who could put these ideas to work this week.
Your next step is simple. Try Bus to Rail Mode Switcher, then read Understanding Your Energy Bill Breakdown, and use them together to take action today.